Excellent. There we are. Hopefully this will all sort itself out. It's never quite guaranteed in this world, is it? There we are. Alright, so that means I know I can hear and see everything, so we can turn that down. And let's just have a little tidy up of this little collection of stuff whilst we're waiting to see who comes on. I wouldn't blame you if no one came on today, to be honest. It's too beautiful to be really tucked inside, I guess, is the honest answer. But there we are. I'm hoping I won't be Billy No Mates for the night, evening, afternoon, but if we are, we are. We're going to carry on crafting regardless. Right, we've got too many bits out on here. Let's just move that over there, that over to there. I'm sure I had out decoupage glue. Oh, maybe I was a silly. Oh, there it is. There we are. Excellent. Hi Gillian, thank you very much. Thank you very much for letting me know you can hear and see me. It's always much appreciated. I never quite trust Facebook to do the right things, and OBS is messing me around today. I don't know what's going on with it. I think I'm going to have to update it and reload everything. That's a pain, but hey ho, so be it. Hi Sheila, welcome my darling. Welcome, welcome. Let's just move that vaguely into line. Camera setup is a bit different, and that's not going to help today, as I say, because Facebook was being, my StreamYard was just being difficult with me. And if I lift this, let's see if I can lift that up just a little bit without making everyone seasick, and see if that will. Yeah, we're just about all on now. I'm going to maybe a bit on the wonk, but no, let's just leave that as it is, because otherwise we will be in a pickle. Hi Angela, welcome my darling, welcome, welcome. So today I have a canvas that we're going to add some stuff to, and I have two rice papers that are a bit different from each other, and I'm rather hoping that they will both give enough cover for what I want to do. I think we will get there. So let us just take that from over there and that to there, and and if necessary we're going to do a bit of, we are going to have a bit of mixy matchy, and that's also just fine. So that can go there, that can go there, and let's just have a bit of mixy matchy here. Get rid of that edge, so that can go onto there. Yeah, I think that will work from there. We've got two more pieces, and let's just have, we'll have a piece of that one. The edges are going to come off, so we're just going to do a little bit of collaging of some of these pieces together, and that's also just fine. We'll add a little bit of texture, and that's also just fine. So let's get some of this on here, and we'll go from there, and we can deal with the white spaces on the edges of these as we go. So, and then we'll see from here, pop these two pieces down, and then we can add some more pieces, and that's going to be interesting. I've got the doors open today. Maybe that was a mistake. Let's just get rid of that edge, and then we can add a bit more onto there. So we are going to have fun. Let's just anchor those down quite happily. Hi Dee, welcome. Hi Teresa. Thank you Angela for tagging people in for me. It's always appreciated. Billy No Mates isn't a good place to be when on a live, but there we are. So we're just, as I say, we're just going, this is a canvas, and it's 30 centimetre So approximately 12 inches. An LP would work just as well. An old cake board would work just as well. You know, it doesn't have to all be the same thing. And we're going to collage these together, and then we're going to add some extra bits to fill in the gaps. Keeping this relatively simple today. Always a good move. The rice papers that I'm using are on Hobby Maker today with Sharon Curtis, so if you like the look of them, then you might need to be quick. They were selling quite well. They quite well. So let's just pop that onto there, pull that down onto the edge of there, pop that down. Hopefully that will then cover quite a lot of that, and I can get rid of the white edges because that's not what we want. And we're just going to add our rice papers as a collage and layer to create an interesting background. Well, that's the plan anyway. There we are. Let's just pop that underneath there. And I'm using Pentart glue and varnish today, but Cadence Bond and Seal would work just as well if that's what you've got in your stash. You want a lightweight glue for rice paper, not something that's going to be too heavy and claggy. There we are. So let's just add that over there. As I say, we're going to add, so I'm thinking that these might look like a little bit like maybe faux rocks, if that makes sort of sense. Let's just get that so that those letters are vaguely in the upright direction, because that's also cool, isn't it? There we are. So when I can see through, and I'm not minding there being gaps, because that's also going to work for me. So let's just add a bit more of that over there, so we can then, yeah, as you can see. So just don't be afraid, make the pieces work for you. A4 rice papers are never going to fit a 12-inch frame exactly, but you see, because these will layer and cover over it, thinking it looks like water over the top of an interesting background. Well, so is my brain's thinking that. Let's just tear some of that off there, and we're going to pop that over into there. So let's get rid of that edge there, because that's not going to work very nicely for me. There we are, and that can go over the top. I'm going to say we're just going to have a little bit of fun, a little bit of collaging. Who else is joining me? Ah, hi Lou, welcome my darling, welcome. So we're just having a bit of a play today, and we're really mixing it up, maybe challenging people's brains a little bit with this as a concept of adding layers and add details. Maybe we're not, but that's the process. Right, there we are. Does it matter that my flowers are going in different directions? Well, it's not going to, is it? Because really, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So let's just add that over there. We're making, as I say, we're making a background, and we're mixing and matching different products, because we're all guilty of it, aren't we? We see something, we like it, we want to have it. Then we think, what am I going to do? And then we start making, and then suddenly, actually, we've got a real hodgepodge of stuff. And so I've got some blank areas, so let's just have a little bit of a play here. So that piece is going to sit nicely onto I think we'll sit nicely over there. Yeah, and who says that you can't mix and match and layer? Just go for it, have fun. Oh, this is a lined piece, so I'm going to deliberately add that piece over there. And yeah, it looks a mess around the edges, but I'm getting these nicely sealed in place. We're going to add some extra bits into here anyway, because it wouldn't be me without. There we are, and that piece can go in there. We definitely don't want all of that edge onto there though. So there we are, and then we can pop that over. So I've got some of these up, and some of these over, some of these under. You know, it doesn't really matter. That's given me a base and some layering. Do I like that answer on a postcard? No, that's because I've got the lines around, the straight lines are not straight. But hey ho, nor are they over there. But I think that might be a bit more of You see, rice papers are really well behaved. There we are. So I can now get that so it is nearer straight for me. There we are. Maybe not. Have I got it straight? Anyway, it's going to do as it is. And I've got a blue area here, and I've got some extra bits of blue there. Might have to sort that out, but that's fine. Let's just add some pieces of this onto here. These papers are now getting soggy. There we are. Let's just pop that onto there. That won't matter. Let's pop that bit that we tore off there back onto there. Mix and match, so it just shows. And hopefully then we've got everything, a nice covered surface. And that's just now going to need, it is going to need a little bit of a dry, because we're going to add some more details and more layers on that. But because it's rice paper, these will have all gone in together. There we are. So let me see who has joined us today. So welcome Angela, thank you. Hi Jan. Hello Jill, welcome. Yeah, we've both been good girls. Thank you Lou for joining us and watching. Thank you Elizabeth for sharing. So it's a beautiful day. I've got my conservatory doors open, so I'm not cooking today. Makes a miracle. Hello Alison. Welcome. Here we are. So let's just get rid of some of these pieces. Those bits really are not worth keeping, but some of the other pieces are. And we'll pop this all together. There we are. We'll give this a dry, and I'm going to concentrate on the edges, because that's the bit that really needs to be dry for me to get rid of the excess that I've got here. I don't want that extra bit on there. Good afternoon Julie, welcome. I do hope everyone's having a nice time on a beautiful spring, early summer day. I'm not too sure that the weather forecast for the next few weeks is good, is all as nice, but let's really enjoy it while we can. So we're just going to get this all mixed and matched, because why not indeed. We just need to get this dry before we can do anything else. Let's move that over eastwards for me, or westwards for me. Hopefully then a bit more of it will be on camera for you. That can come down a little bit. I'll just let this catch up. Oh dear. And I've caught that little piece of that bit of the rice paper as I picked something up. So let me just resolve that with a bit of glue. While we sort that out, because you can see, I can see on camera, it's sitting there shouting, "You're too white." There we are. There we are. No one will ever know if I don't say anything to anyone that I'd managed to pull that piece off there. So let's just get this lot dried, stuck down. That can go in there. And then we can do a little bit of filing in a minute. And we can add some paste. And then we can do some painting. So we've not got a complicated project today. Yeah, there are a few steps along the way. Wouldn't be a project for me if we didn't have a few steps along the way, would it? It just wouldn't. It's just part of life. Yeah. So let me just come round that edge, because it's the edge that, at this point, to get these edges off really needs to be completely dry. So I've had a busy morning. I went to the paper craft show in Lee, had a lovely time, didn't spend a ridiculous amount of money, have got new blades for my trimmer, because that was much needed. Much needed. Did pick up a die set that I rather liked. Very neat sets of flowers, sets of leaves and foliage. Never have enough leaves and foliage. That stuff in the stash. Then I had a trip to the meat market with my lovely friend, and then what did I do? Oh, we went to Country Baskets. So that's always cool, isn't it? There we are. Just need to get that dry. So let's see. Have we got that dry around the edges? Reasonably, I think. Reasonably. There we are. So let's just file this off, because why wouldn't we? It's going to give me a nice neat edge for my canvas, because that's the look I'm going for. So I now have, from 2 pieces of rice paper, a collage background. One representing rocks in my head, it's a bit more blocky, and one representing foliage or florals at the bottom of the pond. Sometimes you have stuff in your stash and you just have to wait for the inspiration or for the perfect addition add-on pieces to work with it. And I bought the mould we're going to use probably 3 months ago now, and it's been sitting there patient. I cast the pieces ages ago, but then had to concentrate on fabric painting mediums for Pentart, so it sat there unloved for all pieces cast unloved for about a month. There we are. And as I've said before, it's scrape down, lift off, go back in. So we've got some tiny scraps there which we'll just pop off to the side in case we might want to do a bit more patching. But actually I'm relatively happy with that. And I want to... Oh, Alison, that's not good, my darling. I do hope that you're okay, and whatever reason is that you've got your feet, both legs in casks, isn't too serious, and it's whatever it is sortable. That doesn't sound very pleasant on a warm day. I guess the only consolation is it might not be so warm for so long. So there we are. So let's just pop this back into shot. There we are. Hopefully. Yeah, we're just about all in, as I say. So this, I'm going to add some transparent crackle over this. I want a sort of shiny, watery surface, and I want to add a little bit more interest to it. I don't necessarily want to add lots of colour into it, but I do want a little bit of extra interest, and so that's why I've picked that. And I might well pick up an antiquing jar. I haven't got them out. So this is the transparent crackle paste from Pentart. It comes as a 2-part medium, and this is part 1 that I'm putting on now. The part 1s are all white based, regardless, and then and they will dry clear, and then I can pop the second one on. And I don't think it's going to take me that long to get this dry today, which is even better. There we are. As I say, it'll give me a shiny finish, because that's what this one does. If you want a matte finish, then the classic, so one of the other crackles might be better, but but this will work quite nicely, and it's going to allow me to see through the papers. It will help disguise some of the edges, some of the overlays that I've got, and that is also just cool. There we are. Doesn't matter whether you up and down, flip or flop, back and forth, scrabble this on any which way you want. What doesn't relate to the crackles that you get in the finished piece, but you do want a layer that's covered. You don't want it to be too gloopy, because that will show through. So reasonably even there, but one that is moderately generous. There we are. And I think now I probably have gone over the whole thing, and I can see over there it is already clearing, so that can go into there. Hi Maddie, welcome. Good evening. Laurie, welcome my darling. Welcome, welcome. Let's just give this a little bit of a dry. Don't think it's going to take forever. We'll just start the process of speeding it up. There we are. We'll heat that up. Then that can sit down on the floor behind me. Clunk. And then let's do a little bit of painting. Why not? Why not? I hear you all say. Because it wouldn't be alive for me without painting, would it? Have I got all of the pieces? I have got all of my pieces. So I've done some prep because I didn't think you wanted me to be painting here forever and a month of Sundays, because, well, that's not cool really, is it? So, greenery. We have foliage. Thank you, Dewey. So this is a Stamperia Allegro in leaf green, and this is a Stamperia Allegro in garden green, because those two colours seemed to me that they had the right names and the right words for the projects that I had in mind. So these pieces are from Prima mould that contains this beautiful fish. There's 2 fish and lots of these on the mould, and some lotus flowers and a seed head. So, cast from Amazing Casting Resin, use your favourite, that's mine, okay? And then I have covered them with this one, my standard approach bonding primer, because resin is a plastic surface and I need something for the paint to stick to, so bonding primer from Pentart. There we are. So let us just find some brushes that we like the look of today. There we are. Let's just pick up some of those. So the garden one I'm going to pop in the centre. There we are. A normal approach to painting, of course, because life is too short otherwise, isn't it? And then let's pick up some of that garden green. So I've got 2 shades to here. I'm not necessarily that minded about it being completely dense, as long as I've got a coverage today, but I do want the edges to mix in, so that there isn't a sharp transition between everything. It's really not going to take, I think, very long for these pieces to dry today, looking at the way this is drying on here. So let's just add some of that into there, just to soften that off a little bit. And yeah, I'm never going to keep my hands clean, am I, ladies? No, let's just be honest about it. It's just not going to happen with me in painting. So there we are. We'll keep to the same process. And when I'm prepping for the lives, I tend to have started decorating some of my resin pieces for a number of reasons. A, it cuts down the amount of time I spend on the live, we're just doing exactly the same thing, but B, it allows me to play and make sure that the colours are what I want it to be, and also it allows me to change my mind if that's what I want, and if I need to recast something because it's not working, then that's what I can do. So just takes a little bit of thought, time and effort for working things like this, these through. There we are. Let's just pop that into there. We'll have a little bit of darker green there. Make sure we've got it all covered. There we are. We can do these bit by bit because we've got some layering to do along the way to add into it. There we are. So, hi Liz, hi Sue. I hope the ladies who've been on Liz's Zoom workshop today have had a lovely time. I'm looking forward to seeing your makes on social media at some point in the future. I'm aware that Liz is live for Liz Wheeler. I think it's on her Liz Wheeler Designs page this evening at 5 o'clock, so we're intending to be finished before then. Famous last words. Liz can give me a good nag if I'm wittering on too much and not getting there. I'm sure I left another one of those, the round ones out, but maybe not because I can't see it. We'll just work with what we've got. There we are. So by doing this, each leaf will inevitably be different, but they will be tonally correct for each other. If that sort of makes sense. It makes sense in my mind. Anyway, there we are. Cool. Add that into there. Pop that into there. That can go there. Those are not, but I do know what I did for the seed pod, she says. So this is powder blush. I don't need a huge amount of that, but let's pop some powder blush up there. There we are, and some nougat. There we are. I don't necessarily need masses of that either. So this is why when I posted the picture for the event advertising, why I had lots of stuff. So I don't want a green, and I didn't want a dark brown, and I didn't want pink either, just to be difficult. I wanted a softer green colour. There we are. A woodier green for this bit. I can mix these colours on here. There we are. And hope that it vaguely tones in and matches with the other one. So let's do that. Let's just give that a little bit of a wriggle in there. She could have been referring to me. I'm quite capable of being the naughty person in a workshop. Yeah, doing my own thing. So there we are. We'll just add that to the seed heads, because why not? There we are. That can go there. Right. So I didn't. I used white. You don't very often see me using white, but I am going to use white. And inconsiderately, I'm out of the white Allegro. But that's cool, because actually I'm desperately trying to use stuff up, as we all know. So, here we are. Let's just swap to this. Now then, I think I want a better brush for this. So, predominantly, and they're not going to stay white, because, you know, why would I do that? So, white acrylic onto my lotus flowers, or water lilies, or call them what you want. Don't really matter, does it? Pond flowers. colour them as you want. There we are. This is when I'm going to end up with icky, sticky, macky fingers. I can feel it happening before we start. There we are. So that's that. And now I'm going to pick up just some of that, and I'm going to tuck it in. Just tuck it in to the depths. So I'm adding little bits of pink shading. I'm not wanting bright pink, but nor am I wanting necessarily white either. So there we are, we're just adding, and because the white underneath is still wet, they're mixing for me. So this will be a problem because I've got white on there, but hey ho. So we'll have more, some of these might end up a little bit more pink, but that's also fine, because no two flowers will ever be exactly the same, will they? You know, it's just not the way it goes. It just isn't the way it goes. There we are. There we are. We just carry on. As I say, I didn't really want you to have to spend forever this afternoon on a beautiful day tucked inside, although of course you could be quite happily watching outside. So I've deliberately done some of this stuff up front, so variations in brushes will help for doing this. They're just adding some extra colour into some of these leaves, these petals, just helping so it's not completely flat. Make them the colours that you want. If that's, if you prefer them to be darker, then that's also just fine. So let's just pop that into there. Have we got a small flower? Yeah, because there's, as I say, these I have. Some of these I've cast from the mould a couple of times, but there's lots and lots of variation of sizes in this Prima mould, and size variation helps to build a more cohesive pattern, I think. So let's just add some of this into the depths, into the nooks and the crannies. There we are. And we can add some dry brushing anyway, so that's also not a problem. What happens in the workshop stays in the workshop. Yeah. Some of us just win lots of raffles, not saying anything. Hubbies don't need to know what goes on in workshops. Winning raffles is always good, isn't it, ladies? Yeah? Never need to disclose what you've actually done. Projects are obvious, and everything else, well, sometimes it's best left between those that are in the know. There we are. Now I might push these aside in a minute and give my canvas a bit of a blitz, because I want to get another layer, the second part of the crackle onto that, and want to get these dried as well. So let me just pop that over there, pop that into there for the moment. And oh, for me, I've got quite clean hands. That's a major miracle, isn't it? That is a major miracle. So let's just move that back onto there, that over there, that over there, that over there. Right. Can I see some bits I've missed? Yeah, because that would be life, or bits that I've touched. There we are. We can add that in to those. Stick that in there. So let me just. So this now no longer is looking quite as milky as it was, but there is still a milkiness to it. So if I give this a quick blast, and get it dry. might help matters, I think. Yeah, coolio. I don't want to, you notice that I'm moving my heat gun around, and that's because I don't want this to, the step 1 to bubble. Because that won't be an attractive look long term. And it's just where I've got the thicker areas that it's still white. So let me just clear it down. We'll get there. I think we've got plenty of time. Good afternoon, Anna. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I trust you are all very well. So far I have collaged 2 rice papers together onto a circular canvas, and in my head I have got rocks and greenery at the bottom of the pond, and I've currently got my step 1 transparent crackling gel on here, which I'm drying because that's what I need to do. And why is it? It's a bit like the kettle, isn't it? You know, when you want to, or pan of water for your vegetables, if you're boiling them, not that I ever boil vegetables these days. When you want something to do something quickly, it never does, or it just seems to take forever and a month of Sundays. Whereas, there we are. We are getting there. See, on your screens, on the screens, it doesn't look like it is still got areas of white, but it absolutely has. I just need to get these areas a bit drier than they are without creating bubbles. Most of it has gone. Okay, patience is a virtue, not behest of me, on a life. There we are. So let's just add some of our cracking gel. There we are. So we're just going to add this, swipe it down and across. Do we have to hit every area? Probably not. Are we going to aim to? Yeah, for this piece I actually am, because I want the shininess that the cracking gel is going to give me, and across the whole thing, as if I've got water, because water isn't flat or matte, is it? There we are. Don't necessarily want too many areas that are very thick though, because that might just drive us all completely loopy. Drop and then drop that in there. Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? There we are. So this is the thing, isn't it, with when you're doing something that's, I guess you'd call mixed media. It's mixed media purely because I've got some rice paper, I've got a paste, I've got some moulds. It's not hugely mixed media, I'm just layering, and I guess that is what for me mixed media truly means. It's the fact that you take lots of products and you layer to get lots of different interest and tech detail. I covered that there. There we are. Right, excellent. We'll shuffle that into there. Good afternoon, Liz. Welcome. Hello, Isabel. Thank you very much for joining us. So that can now go onto the floor. Hopefully, those are now dry. So we can do these in different steps. So these have just got coats of the paint on them. And I'm wanting to antique and distress these, and one of the ways that it will protect that paint underneath when I'm distressing is going to be to add a varnish over them, and I will come back to that in a minute. But we're going to do these in layers, because hopefully this way we've got them. So this is just a matte acrylic paint, a matte varnish, and I haven't let that pink paint dry properly in the creases, but hey ho. So there we are. Let's just get that over there, and then we can add a layer of the varnish onto these, and it's just going to make it, won't need to rub quite so hard when I'm distressing them and adding some aging techniques to them, because actually plants in a pond are not nice, not all pristinely coloured, are they? If you went up to them, they'd all have variations of colour, they'd be munched by the bugs, lots of different things. So there we are. Let's get rid of the pink off there. I don't necessarily want to transfer that into the others. But you don't want, she says, lopping on large quantities so much that you destroy all of the that you fill in all of the details, but you do need just something to protect them. And it will also give the piece longevity. If I'm not intending it to be kept for very long, or it's purely a display piece, then it doesn't matter so much. But if you're, you might be tempted thinking about selling your pieces, then actually adding a layer of varnish will work. And I've deliberately chosen the matte as a contrast against the bright, the shininess of the water that I'm going to get from that crackle paste that I've put on. Sorry, I forgot where I was thinking then. It's always good, isn't it, to have a brain, and to activate it before one opens our trap. There we are. So that's going to give us a bit of extra colour. That can go into there. So those can go over there. 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 So let's tackle said fish. Said fish. So we have some baby blue. Some aptly called Don't You Worry. That is definitely orange. Hi Joan, welcome my darling. Don't worry, it's there if you want to watch back later on, but I'll talk you through the base piece when we get to it. And that is coral red. So I don't like that orange, it's too orange, and I definitely don't like that red because it's too red, if that makes sense. Oh, what's the other colour I want out? That'll be a bit of black as well. There we are. That's not a colour you see me use masses of either. She says, yeah, icky mucky sticky fingers. So let us just let's take some of that, a little bit of that. And the problem I've got is that I've already, having made one of them, I'm needing to colour match reasonably and paint enough of it. I think that will work. So it's a softer, reddier orange. Maybe add just a little soupçon more of that. So just because that's the colour you've got does not mean that's the colour you have to use. Oh, she says. just sit there and behave. So let us just take some small things. So I started out with this and I thought, what am I going to do with my fish? Because I'm thinking goldfish, but it's described as a koi. So I've added some little bits of blue, thinking that's sort of an ethereal, watery feel to it. Gives a little bit of sense of movement to those pieces. And then we've got things, but we're going to layer. So let's just add a little bit of that blue onto there, spread it out, a little bit of that onto there and there. So I've now added a little bit of sense of movement with that blue, and it's not going to stay like that. And then I'm thinking, wow, koi carp, possibly koi carp, possibly other things. So let's just have a little bit of a play. So, you know, no two koi carp are ever exactly the same. So let's just add some areas of markings. There we are. That will work into there. So this is how dangerous my brain is when it comes to these things. There we are. And then let's just add another bit onto there. Let's just take that up onto there, onto there. And do I want that all completely uncoloured? Answer, no. So let's just add a little bit of that onto there. Let's just add a little bit more of that there, and we'll add some colour onto there. So the shapes on real koi are sort of rounded. Let's just give him half of a, or just slightly over half of a face with that. And then let's just add some more colour, some more patches. Onto here. So I'm just literally playing here. There isn't a logic. Well, apart from the fact that it looks nice, as far as I'm concerned, there isn't a huge degree of logic in this process for me. But I'm just adding the splodges that perhaps nature would have added on her own, and rounding off the edges, because that's what happens in reality. It's quite difficult to round these off because of the shape of the pieces. Having said that, there we are. Let's just have a little bit more of that onto there. There we are. Right, let's just turn that round. And let's just add some black into there, and that is the black eye. So I'm now wanting some black into here, and it doesn't have to, it doesn't matter that it's crossing the boundaries. And it's mixing into them. There we are. Let's just add some more black onto the tip of there, and a little bit onto there. So let's see where we want. Let's just have a little bit of black onto that piece, and we're going to take a little bit of the black there into there. And then I'm having to think, let's just have a piece coming into there. So I'm breaking up the white, I'm breaking up the blue as I go. And just adding the black and the maybe my brain's a dangerous place, I don't know, who knows. I might add a bit more brown, black. I might add just a little bit more of that orange over there in a minute. On the other hand, we might not. We might just leave some of that. I'm thinking I might need a little bit more orange onto there. And if I just pick that orange up with this brush, I'm just going to end up with a mess, aren't I? So let's just swap. And add a bit more into there. And I know I've got bits of black on this brush, and I'm deliberately choosing to darken some of these areas. That orange, for all its vivacity, doesn't give great coverage, whereas the bit with the black added in will just help give a bit more density to the colouring of here. So I now feel I've got a koi carp that is a bit more natural. As I say, I don't think there's actually a right or a wrong for this. I think, you know, it's about how it feels to you. There we are. There we go. That will work. That will work. Right. So let's just pop that out of harm's way. Let's just give that a little bit of a mop. Let's put those brushes out of harm's way. Oh, that's beginning to crackle. That is beginning to crackle. This is going to need a varnish, and these need a dry, because I can see that the varnish is still wet on this. I'm buffering a lot. I think it might be at your end, my darling, because it's not at mine at the moment. Neither on my computer or on my phone, but it is very dependent, isn't it? The weather over here is not too stormy at the moment. I need to get the fish dry before I do it. Welcome, Betty. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. It can't be too bad an hour for you, I think, out in the US. You rebooted. Thank you, my darling. I just think that sometimes, you know, it's so dependent on where you are and the vagaries of the wind direction and what's going on up in the hemispheres and the rest of it is, and we all sometimes struggle to go live. There's no question about it. It's not always so easy. Let me just get this paint dry. I don't particularly want the black to smudge when I put the varnish over that. So let me just get whichever scrubby brush I use for the varnish. Was it that one? Let's just get a clean brush. Why not? It's not as if you don't have enough of them. So I'm going to varnish the fish now to protect him. There we are. And some of that black wasn't dry because we're now mixing colours, but hey ho, it will give a slightly softer feel to some of those areas. Let me just wipe. Oh, Facebook, yeah, there's lots of doesn't always cooperate with it. It's just part of life, isn't it? Yeah, we are. So let's just get this varnished. Lots and lots of nooks and crannies on this mould. There we are. So if you wanted it to be white all over, then just please, you know, make sure your paint is fully dry before you grab your varnish brush. But that will work because it wasn't fully on the other, and we're going to distress it anyway and antique it, so it won't be mattering. It won't be mattering. So that can sit there. Those are not quite dry. That needs to dry. So if I hold this up here, I can see I've got some big crackles appearing here. There and here. I've got them scattered all throughout. So let's just give this, because I need the whole lot of these now to dry. And for that paste to go right. Yeah, and for some of it it's more challenging than others. Definitely some of the times it's more challenging than others. So there are some bits you can do ahead of time, like I can prep a whole mountain of moulds, but there are some bits that if I want to show you how I'm doing it, it just isn't possible to double up. It's just very inconsiderate. And I am conscious I've put quite a relatively thick layers on here. If you put thin layers of the second layer on, you'll get lots of thin cracks. But then the antiquing paste, or anything you fill the cracks with, tends to take over the whole piece. Whereas if you put a thicker layer, I get less cracks, but the cracks that I do get are bigger. So you see more of the colour underneath when you do that. I guess it's dependent on the look that you want, isn't it, really? And the joy of this crackle is that it gives you a glossy finish, but it's a water-based product, so you don't need to then seal it with solvent. It's a very different crackle to the fine line, but as I say, it gives you a clear crackle, structural crackle rather than a fine line crackle. but doesn't need sealing afterwards, because it sort of seals for itself. And that's, again, it's a helpful thing to be able to know and to do when you can add all of your layers in together. You definitely need that varnish on these to dry. So it's just fine, you can manage to do these. We're getting there. Some of the pieces that I did right at the beginning are varnish dry. Some of them maybe not finished, but hey ho. Excuse me for rubbing my snotty nose. It's not very nice to do on camera. But hey, there we are. It's another example of waiting for the pot to dry, isn't it? Or the kettle to boil. It is just one of those things you cannot be doing to hurry it. It just needs to take its time. And sometimes you really are better off just walking away and letting nature do it for you. It will dry out perfectly well on its own. One of the headaches with force drying is sometimes it dries on the surface and then it takes forever for it to dry through underneath to go completely transparent. But it will go completely transparent if you're just patient. And more cracks will appear. It's not dry enough to add another layer over at the moment, that's for sure. And on camera you've got less of the milkiness that I've got. It's quite interesting watching the different effects on the camera as to go in front of me. Just pop that to the side a minute, and let's see whether because these feel like they might be ready. Let's let them cool down. So those of you that watch my lives on a regular basis will know that I use antique paste in Umbra quite a lot, and let's just get some extra. There we are. That is just some white. So instead of using Umbra today, I am using the Stamperia Umbra. So if you can't get the Pentart antique paste, then you can get you might be able to have the equivalent of the Umbra from Pentart, from Stamperia, and I'm yeah, partly I'm using this because again I'm on the use up what I've got mode. Although my nice builder, bless his cotton socks, climbed up onto my roof, discovered where the magpies, bless their cotton socks, have been eating all of the sealant for my conservatory roof, dug out what was left and has resealed it for me. Yippee, no £30,000 to spend and no need to re-roof, hey, which I reckon's a result all round, because the idea of having to empty out my conservatory was not one that filled me with great joy, it has to be said. So there we are, let's just add all of this onto here. See, am I going to finish this pot? No, answers on a postcard, that'll be no today, but we will get there, we will get there. So this is an oil-based product, so it does smell, not horrendously so. But it means I can wipe it off with a wet baby wipe. And then I'm rather hoping that these will then match with the... There we are. So it just helps bring in the details. You can take back as much or as little as you want. There we are. So I might want to take off quite a lot more off here, but still have the seed heads, and because I've got it undiluted it's not stuck into those seed heads. So let me just pop some much thicker layer into there, because that will then wipe off less easily. Let's just add some bit more, because I've got some whites into there. Get rid of that. Gonna wipe. We're not going to have them all staying brown. That's not going to happen. So now we can wipe this off. We've got the colours underneath, and I'm never going to get my baby wipe in fully, so I'm just going to be left then with little hints of that colour where I can get it, and it just helps build the dimension of the pieces. Thank you, Liz. See, this is when I get very sticky, messy hands. There we are. And you can, with a bit of ingenuity, get into some of the depths, but as I say, I don't necessarily want it all to be that. I want some natural depth adding in. There we are. I think I might go and grab a paste from a different paste in the cupboard in a minute. So let's just pop those over there. Might take just a little bit more off that one. Let's just clear this up, and let's just take this. So the white that I had is now vintage. There we are. Just wipe it off the top. There we are. Let's just pop that all over there, out of harm's way. We can pop that back in its pot. Pop that over there. Let's just have a little wipe of all of that long. So I'm rather hoping that they'll all then work together with the ones that I've already done. There we are. It's always a risk when you do things a couple of days apart that you won't get the colours exactly to match, but then again nature doesn't exactly match. So let me bear with, just as well I know where everything is in my Jenga tower of everything. Aha. Do I want grey? I do. I do want the grey. Do I want turquoise? No. Do I want dark blue? Oh, I think I do. I think I do. Right. So this is vintage patina, which is the equivalent of an antiquing gel. So do you need everything? No, of course you don't need everything, but it does help to have a mixture of colours. There we are. So let's just pop this onto here. That can fill in the holes. You think you've put all of that detail onto that canvas. So the vintage patinas from Stamperia are the same as the antiquing gels. So once they are dry, they are permanent. So just be aware of that. So don't go letting it dry on a surface before wiping back, because you will regret it. So I choose my products by colour and type. I can't easily make this blue from the antiquing gel colours. There we are. I've still got some areas that are white on here that will, there we are. But I can wipe that off the surface. Get rid of that. Okay. Oh, that wasn't the one I wanted. I don't want a turquoise. Let's get rid of that. That's the colour I want, because I'm rather liking that colour. Okay. And by doing this, all that I've used two completely and utterly different rice papers. By adding this layer over the top with the texture, it's linking the two layers together. Might need to add a bit more. Let's make sure we get the right one this time. I thought so, Betty. Sometimes I think I come up with something that's a nice idea, and sometimes I think maybe that didn't work so well. But on this occasion, I'm rather happy with it. There we are. I'll pop that over there. That can sit there. That can go into there. Let's get rid of that one that I've put the turquoise on. Let's find a clean one so I don't end up with ridiculously mucky hands. There we are. So that crackle just pulls it all together. They are just such, and you think, do you really need all of those crackles in your life? Well, possibly not. So we're going to have, I think, we might have him and him. There we are. I quite like him up like that, like that. Quite like him like that. We might move you in a little bit. There we are. Let's just have a play with our composition. So we've got another leaf here. Oh, she says, because the lily leaves are partly in and partly under the water, aren't they? There we are. So we can have, let's just have, what do we want to do? Do we want, I think, no, quite like the head up, but I'm not, it's not sitting nicely over there for me, so we'll just pop those like that and that. No, I don't want that there. We might. And we're going to pop him like that because he's balanced nicely like that. So there we are. We're going to do that, I think. There we are. Maybe not. Maybe we're just going to take that out of there and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See, that annoys me because that shouldn't be right, is it? So let's just pop that one into there, and let's just have that one like that over there because that's more realistic. Yeah, absolutely. There we are. So let's just then add, we've got there we are. Actually, let's just pop that. I think we might stick that one into there because that's going to work nicely there. And we might stick that like that. There we are. I think that will work. What do we reckon? We might just do a little bit of shenaniganing around and about a bit. There we are. Might pop that over there, there. Yeah. Oh, I think that's... Oh, she says. Well, there we are, you see, because she's a numpty. So she did have more pieces out. There we are. So we can hop. Let's see. Let's just have another one of those there. Let's just pop 2 over there. Let's stick that one under there. Yeah, I think. There we are. Maybe. We'll see. Actually, let's just tuck you. That's better. That's better. Oh, I think that's better. Excellent. Good. So let's grab, as we want to do, some heavy body gel, and let's just now mess it all up by putting it all underneath everything. So let's just pop some of that onto there, and he can sit there. And let's pop that there, and that can sit there. Look. And then let's just add. Let's say this is a Prima mould that is not a limited edition, so is available, which is always helpful because some of the time it irritates me when they do limited edition things, because it's not fair, is it, when if you haven't got the money to spend, and they then do that. So let's just pop. That one can go. We'll have a big blob there because we're going to pop it bridging that gap, and that can go onto that leaf because that's going to then help anchor that down. There we are. Okay, there we are. Let's just pop that onto there. And I think we had that on there, didn't we? So let's just tuck that onto there. Let's just stick that one, tuck it onto there. And I can see I've got bits of heavy body gel there, so I'm just going to squish that out and lift it up. Get rid of the heavy body gel that's there. Let's just lift that out with a wet brush. Let's just lift all of that lot up, and that lot can come out of there. Right, there we are. Okay, let's just pop that in and then we'll have a final mop. Okay. So let's just lift that. Lift those white blobs, because they'll be yucky long term. And there we are, ladies. Laurie, all of my I almost always use resin rather than other mediums. I have got Das clay, I've got a Jovi clay in the house because that gets sent to me from Pentart, and I occasionally will use those mediums, but I don't like the fact that they often will crack, and I like my pieces to be solid, and so that's my preference, is always to use resin, and I use Amazing Casting Resin by Illuminite, and yes, it might be a bit more expensive than some other resins, but for me it's absolutely worth that expense because it works for me time and time again. It sets relatively quickly, and I'm an impatient person when I want to do things, and it just allows me to do all sorts of different things. So that's what I do. Who wants sneaky peeks before you all disappear? Because it is rather gorgeous. Let's see. I need to wait for you to catch up with me. So if I lift this up, I've got purples, glitters and turquoises. There we are. This is clear resin, and I've coloured it. Sneaky peeks, sneaky peeks. You'll have to watch this space as to see what's going to happen. with them. Yeah, Sarah, I just wouldn't bother with the Das clay. No matter how much you try to use it, if you have thin pieces, it's just a no-go. You're better off with the resin, or paradoxically hearty clay that is soft, because it's soft and malleable, but again it will always stay soft. So here is my garden pond for today. I have a live for Pentart on Tuesday with a cryptic title Up and Away, and I shall continue to play with Fortune, which is what those moulds are from, and at some point there will be a make with resin and playing with altering the colours and the different effects you can get with it, because I thought that might be helpful for people. So ladies and gentlemen, take care, be safe and with whatever you're doing, and don't forget that Liz is live at 5, so please join her on Liz Wheeler Designs. Bye.